Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Saturday Morning Coffee with Back to Basics Dog Training. I hope everybody's having a good week. From what I'm looking at, guys, here, it looks like I'm very staticky, jumpy on the video, so I hope it's coming across better on your side. Let me know in the comments. As always, let me know you're watching, where you're watching from. Anyway, I would like to get a shout out to everybody who's watching. Thank you all for joining my first Tuesday night happy hour with Back to Basics last Tuesday. It was a huge success. We had a lot of great questions and a lot of interaction, which was so great. So remember, if you're watching, shoot me a comment. Let me know you're watching now, live, or later on in the replay, whatever. And of course, ask away, ask away, ask away. So with that being said, I'm going to jump into the topic of the week. And, at first, let me introduce myself for anybody who's new who's watching. I'm Leon. I'm the trainer here over at Back to Basics Dog Training. And each and every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I bring to you this live free dog training Q&A session where there are absolutely no questions off limits when it comes to training or helping you guys on the journey of training with your furry family members. I have now also started doing one every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you got two opportunities every week to view me, and hopefully things come through. So topic of the week. I got a great text message last night, actually, from one of our regular Miss Tuesday. Post the deets, please. I absolutely will. It is definitely, Andrea, on my Facebook page. It's on Remember Me Rescue's Facebook page. Tuesday evening, 8 p.m. live, live in color. Same channels. It'll be on my Facebook business at the Back to Basics Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, Remember Me Rescue's two Facebook pages, as well as my YouTube channel. So we're trying to get this really going out there to try to live up to the dream of helping one dog and one family at a time. So I got a great question last night texted over to me, and that's what I keep telling people. And I'm going to put my contact information up here for you guys, just so you guys can have it for a while. Best way to always get in touch with me. Can you address the proper use of a martingale collar, or do you have a video doing that? Thanks. Nancy, at this time I don't have a video on it. I actually started doing, looking to purchase some today, earlier this morning. But the proper way to use a martingale collar. Martingale collars were designed for a pressure and release theory of training. It's a great method. It's a method I use. I use it with the slip leashes. I use it with martingales. I use it with a prong collar or whatever tool it is. Pressure and release, dogs do understand it. Very similar to horses. When you want to turn a horse, you turn it slightly to the, pull the rein slightly to the right, it turns to the right. And then as it's turning, you release that pressure. So the dogs understand that pressure means something if done properly. So the martingale collar, I always say, should be high, tight behind the ears. The beauty thing about martingale collars is they will not slip over your dog's ears and come off, because as there's tension on the leash, it does tighten. So the proper way to use it is, and it gives even pressure around the whole entire neck, not just centered here like choker chains do and choker collars. It puts even pressure around the whole dog's neck. So when you make your corrections or you're trying to teach your dog something, whenever you put a new, good morning, Donna, welcome back. I haven't heard from you guys in a long time. Whenever you use a pressure release theory, you want to teach the dog that first. So you start with the easiest command, which is usually the sit command. So what I do is I position the collar high. I ask the dog to sit. I apply up and back pressure, not but just pressure to get the hint. And then when the dog's tuchus hits the ground, I release that pressure. And of course, then I use my praise words, yes, or give a treat or whatever. And the same thing with making obedience corrections. It's a pop and a leash, same as any other type of apparatus, to get, well, what was that? And they feel the pressure and they start responding. But it's so important to condition them first by doing your basic commands with any new tool, like especially that goes around the dog's neck, to understand that when they feel pressure, that means they have to do something. Um, so what do I mean by that is, again, using the basic theory of sit, that pressure, that up and back pressure to get that motion to sit. When that butt hits the ground, we mark that behavior. Yes, give a treat. Anybody who's familiar with clicker training, at that point, if you use a clicker, you click and you treat. I mark the better behaviors, the behaviors I want with my energy, positive energy, happy energy when they do what I want. So again, you teach pressure release before you teach corrections. Too many people get new tools to help them, and they go right into the correction phase of training. When anytime you introduce a new tool, you want to first condition them for the good stuff, not the bad stuff, because you don't want them to be afraid of this object. I talked to somebody today. They said they used a bark collar on a dog, and as soon as the dog barked, it didn't know what it was and kind of shut up, which is what it's supposed to do. But then because of the way they introduced it to the dog by putting it on, it sounds like they enticed the dog to bark to teach it not to bark, and the dog associated instantly, this new collar represents something uncomfortable. I don't like it. So in a case like a bark collar or an e-collar, I always put those collars on the dogs for 2 weeks. I don't turn them on. I don't do anything with them. They just wear them. So they get used to wearing them to desensitize them so they don't become afraid of the object. Because we never want to train our dogs out of fear. We want to train our dogs because they want to listen to us. Judy asked, I have a 5-month-old shepherd. She is very friendly, but is starting to act timid around people. I don't want her to be afraid of people. How do you teach them not to be afraid? I bring her out around people all the time. Well, the one thing you want to do is advocate for her. She's communicating to you. And at 5 months old, they're going through a fear stage in their life. So it's a common thing. I think there's 2 fear stages. One's around that 5 months, and I think once again about 8-9 months, if I'm not mistaken. So the first thing you want to do is show her that you are going to advocate for her. So she's communicating to you, say, I'm not comfortable with this. That's what you tell people. Hey, please don't pat her. She's in training, and get her to sit and work on her state of mind. You don't move forward. That person can stay within safety distance, but don't approach. They shouldn't be approaching your dog that's saying, I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable. So, one I say, and you guys all know me, I'm very blunt and to the point. Grow a set and tell people, no, I appreciate you wanting to pet my dog, but not right now. And then what you do is you give your dog something else to do. So somebody comes over, she kind of shows she's shy, and tell the person to stop, ask her to sit. Wait till you see that state of mind change from that, I'm unsure to, okay, I'm pretty cool with this. Mom's advocating for me. She's protecting me. Then you can ask that person to take a step closer to see a reaction, or just end the exercise and continue on with your walk or do something. But you want to show her, I got your back, Jack. So it just takes some time. Let her go through the process. It's real important to let her go through the process without a lot of words, without a lot of anything. Don't make a big deal out of it. Don't be the person that sits there and says, it's okay, they just want to say hi to you. No, make it silent. Make it silent. Just stop. Please don't pet my dog. I always say put her in a sit position because you're giving her something else to do. Try to get her to focus on you. And when you see that state of mind change, then we move forward. Just take the time. I was going to talk about insecurity this week and fears or whatever, and it's always a slow process. Please never rush the fear, if that makes sense. So since you asked about a shepherd, the question I got last night was regarding shepherds, and a shepherd that is supposedly very cat reactive. Is it something that can be trained out of a dog? Yes and no. I don't know how else to say it. Dogs by nature have a prey drive. Cats represent prey because they're fast moving. And that thrill of that chase is what creates the instability in the reactivity towards cats. So when I work with dogs that are coming into a home with cats, I tell everything has to be safe. First things, I let them meet each other. And if the cat can be put into a carrier, I put the cat into a carrier and I create a boundary, a safety zone around the cat carrier. And what I do is I bring the dog to the point, say, okay, this smell represents distance, this smell represents calm. And we go through the process. The cat's safe because it's in a carrier. My dog's on a leash, of course. And if the dog gets excited because the cat's making noise or whatever, hissing, meowing, purring, whatever, we disagree with it. We want to teach the dogs that that cat represents calm, but you can't do that without a leash. And then after a couple of times of doing this, oh, that was your text. Thank you for reaching out to me. I appreciate it. After a couple times, and again, each dog's an individual. I can't tell you how much you really want to get to the point where the cat's safe in a carrier, and the dog is just laying down within, a 2-3 foot radius of it, and just doesn't even give a rat's what about it. But that doesn't end it. That does not end the training journey. What the next step is then dog on a leash, bring the cat out in the carrier, and it's easier if you have two people, of course. Somebody's holding the dog, somebody's opening the cage to the cat carrier. So now the cat can start coming out. So now we worked with the smell, we worked with that, all that represents calm, but now we're adding motion into the process. Motion creates prey drive. And if we have prey drive, we have a potential for a cat to get hurt, even though most dogs, in my opinion, don't want to hurt cats. They want to play with them. They just don't know how to. And cats can be really bossy, and dogs don't like that either. Now there's going to be motion. The cat's going to either walk out, saunter out, or bolt out. You have to teach your dog that motion now represents calm, and it's the same theory. Pop on a leash, no, sit. State of mind's good, praise, but only praise when the state of mind is where you want it. If the state of mind is still looking for the cat, but they're sitting and they're being really good, that doesn't mean anything. And it's a process. Now, here's the caveat, and the reason I said yes and no. Shepherds in general are great dogs if you are going to be a pack leader 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with 365 days a year. They need that guidance and leadership. They are a strong working breed dog that need a job. The walk could be their job if we do the structured walk. The more you do the structured walk, which is showing leadership and bonding, and definitely doing structure, the more the dog has a job. It has a purpose. Shepherds need a purpose. I've worked with numerous shepherds in my lifetime. One of the very first ones I worked with was a dog that just learned that if I do this, you stop. It became very controlling because it had no purpose in life. So it felt it needed to do a job. And this happened to be cutting its nails. It did not like it. But then when I talked to the customer and found out this dog had no structure in its life, no job in its life, I stopped the process of trying to cut the nails and decided we got to give this dog a job. And we just started doing structured walks day in, day out, constantly for 2 weeks. The dog understood now, because they got the structure and the leadership, that, hey, if mom or dad or the big ugly trainer wants to cut my nails, they're in charge. I have to let them. So when you're dealing with the stronger working breed dogs, guys, remember, you need to give them jobs. You need to give them a sense of purpose. It's it's super important to them. And just keep working on it. Just keep working on it. Show them that. Also keep in mind, shepherds are herding breed dogs. They're not guard dogs. We've conditioned them to be guard dogs, but they're originally bred to be shepherds. They herd the sheep. They herd things. So motion creates that urge to herd. And this is why I'm saying it's also a hard thing to do. It's in their DNA to herd. So they see the cat moving. Their job is to herd it, keep it safe. Believe it or not, it's more about the safety. They don't bet. When these dogs herd sheep, they're not trying to hurt the sheep. They're trying to control it. That's their job. So it's something that takes time, because if you don't take the time and you don't, use my 4 C's of training: calm, confidence, consistency, to get the control, it's going to revert back to its natural DNA. In the shepherd's case, it's going to go herd the cat. And herding the cat can hurt the cat. And we never want that to happen. I'm not the biggest cat person in the world, but I've had cats with my dogs, and my dogs understand they are not allowed to do that. So a few daily, very structured. I'm the pack leader and he's on a martingale. He feels he has a purpose. And absolutely, the structure, the 24 hours a day structure. Now, I said to use structure on the walk, but that's also structure in the house. Don't let them make decisions. Don't let them decide to jump on the couch and get comfortable on their own. They should be invited on there. Oh, you're telling me it's okay to go up there. Oh, you didn't tell me it's okay to go up there. You can do structure inside the house. One of the things I tell people, they need to create boundaries in their own houses, which is creating structure, creating leadership, creating all this. And the biggest place to create a boundary in the house is the kitchen. Think about the kitchen itself. Food, smells. Oh my God, this is the best thing since sliced bread. I'm going to be right in there while you're in there. No, you're not. Out. Create a boundary, because that's about the structure. I realized that I was going to say something, but I didn't want to open my mouth. I am so sorry that Garson passed. Breaks my heart. When I read that part of the text, and I was kind of figuring that, I didn't know for sure. Unfortunately, I don't know any good shepherd breeders up there. There are a lot of shepherd rescues. I'm not familiar with them. I don't look into things. When I look for a rescue dog, I don't look for breed specific unless a customer asks me. And I'm not familiar with any up north right now. So again, you create only rescue. Yeah, there are plenty of shepherd rescues. It's just a matter of finding them. Just Google it, or go on Facebook and see if you can find different shepherd groups. I'm sure somebody can point you in the right direction. And in reality, guys, when you look to bring a new dog into the home, always look for calm. Please don't go for the dog that's jumping all over you. Don't go for the dog that's cowering in the corner. Look for a calm dog. I mean, you can get the dog that's all excited if you have the energy to match that. And the reason I say stay away from the shy ones is because we bring them into the house and we feel bad for them. So definitely, again, we're talking about a strong working breed dog. If you get a shy shepherd, like the question asked before, the worst thing you can do is coddle that insecure state of mind, because they're going to get confused. And it's very hard for people not to coddle an insecure dog when really what they want is leadership. They'll get the confidence if they have confidence in their leader. Remember, it's calm confidence. Without confidence, there's no trust. So it's real important. So when you're talking about a high prey drive type of animal, and when I say prey drive, it's not about eating. It could be that herding instinct. It's important to take the time, and you have to bulletproof it. And one of the things I would tell you is, I don't care if you get a puppy or an older dog, the most important basic obedience command you can teach before you even introduce the cats, if you can, is the recall command, and make that bulletproof. And when I say that, yes, do your come command in the yard first, safe, 6 feet, 12 feet, 25 feet, 50 feet, whatever. And then take the dog out to a public area with your long lead. And no matter what the distractions are around them, they hear Fido come or Fido here, they need to come straight back to you. I've said this before in my lives. That is what I worked the hardest on with Zoe when she was a puppy, is the recall command. And where it tested out and proved positive, I found several rescues. May I text you or call you later today? Quick questions. Shoot me a text. I'm going to be bouncing around a little bit today. I got a bunch of phone calls I got to make. So texting, and then, just I'll get back to you. Today's going to be a day where I'm going to be on this thing a lot, it seems like. And I got some running to do. So when I worked with Zoe as a puppy, I worked on the come command every day. When she was a puppy, it was 5, 10, 15-minute intervals, 3, 4, 5 times a day, depending on everything, the weather and everything else. And I did it inside the house. I did it outside the house, and then I took her to places. So one day when I lived up on Long Island, we had a big yard. We had like 3/4 of an acre fenced in. And Zoe is part hound dog, so her prey drive, and shepherd and boxer, so her prey drive is extremely fierce. She'd go after squirrels, rabbits, raccoons. She'd go after anything. The thrill of the chase was there. I don't know if she ever caught anything, what she would do with it. I have no idea. So one day I brought her out. It was springtime. I'm out on the deck with her, and I see her staring intensely into the woods. And I'm like, look at him. I don't see nothing. Whatever. I probably figured it was a squirrel in my mind. And all of a sudden, this dog, who's one of the fastest dogs I've ever seen, takes off 10,000 miles an hour. And I'm trying to look through the woods to see what the heck she's going after. And I see 3 white-tailed deers running away from her. And they're trying to run and jump over the fence, but they're running, I think it's parallel to the fence, so they're trying to jump, which isn't very good. And long story short, she's about 3/4 of an acre away from me, and I realized, oh my God, she's chasing deer. I wasn't worried about her catching the deer. I was more worried about the deer kicking her, which could kill her. I'm on my deck. She's 3/4 of an acre away, and I yelled, Zoe, come. Literally, if she had rubber tires on her feet, you would have heard them screech, and she made a 90-degree turn, came straight back to me, mid-prey drive, level 10, but she knew when I called her, she had to come. And guys, you can go to PetSmart, Petco, and all these places to do your basic obedience training. And the sit and the pour and the belly rub and all that is really, really, really good. The most important basic obedience command, period, end of discussion, is the recall command. Work on it. Focus on that. You want your dog to be bulletproof. God forbid they get out the front door. You call them, they come back, they don't get hit by a car. Depending on where you live in this country, go out. Where I live, there's coyotes, there's different things. I need my dog to be bulletproofed. Go to some other places, there could be bobcats, mountain lions, whatever. I need my dog to be bulletproof. So focus on that. If you do anything, focus on that. I got a couple things I got to read here, so bear with me. Let me just scroll. Okay, Donna says, we've been leaving Stark out of his crate during the day while we're at work. His crate is left open. However, after his normal morning routine, he will stand in his crate waiting for us to close it. He'd still prefer to have the crate closed and cover it over it. He is now 3, so we're trying to break him in a crate closed during the day. He will only go in there once in a blue moon if we're at home, unless I say night or as part of the morning authority. If he's more comfortable in the crate, I would put him in the crate. He's comfortable in there. Why? Why not? Put him in the crate. Tell him to lay down there. Leave the door open. Even when you're home, tell him to go into his crate. Leave the door open. Walk around. Let him know that even though the door's open, he can stay in there safely, comfortably. Put the cover on it, unless he's going to chew the cover. But experiment when you're home. Stark, night, crate, whatever words. I forgot what we used already because I'm getting old and senile. Leave the door open. Make him stay in there because you didn't give him permission to leave. And see how he does. But if he's comfortable in there when you guys are at work, put him in there. It's okay. He's telling you what he wants. I use that dog Duke that I worked with. Duke every night, 8:30, put himself into his crate, went to bed. I can leave the crate open. I can close it. It didn't make a difference. He wasn't coming out. He was comfortable there. I mean, I closed it. Um, that's where he became comfortable. Stark's comfortable in his crate. Let him stay in the crate. Uh, yes, Judy says, I've been working recall. She's good at home, but not too good outside the yard. Yeah, that makes sense. More distractions, but I'm working on it now. She's like a different dog on walks, but I'm working on it. Slow and steady wins the race. Guys, just remember the 4 C's, please. If you remember anything I ever taught you, the 4 C's. Threshold management is really important too. But the 4 C's: calm, confidence, consistency equals control. Calm, confidence, consistency equals control. The 4 C's. Everything you do inside the home, we are more confident because it's a controlled environment. Once we get out into our yards, it's not as controlled. So, of course, our confidence goes down. Just logic. There's more smells. There's more this. There's more whatever. Now we mastered our yard. That's when you take it into the outside world. Master in your backyard if it's fenced in, and then bring it to the front yard where now we got cars and we got people walking and other dogs and things like that. Before you go to a park, it's so worth the effort, especially when it comes to recall. How do I train recall command? Couldn't even get Garson to do that. Thus, he got hit by a car and lived running away for fun. Yeah, I love running away for fun because it was the thrill of the chase. But again, if you teach recall with a leash, guys, you know me, I'm not a treat trainer. It's one of the few things I actually do use high value treats for is the recall. And when I say high value, it's not a milk bone. It's boiled up chicken, low sodium hot dogs, cheese, liver, whatever my dog really, really likes. They get it for certain things and only for those things. And recall is one of the things I would use it for. So with Zoe, I use boiled chicken. And, come back to me, praise, because it's the best thing in the world, piece of chicken. And I did that hundreds, if not thousands of times with her. But you use your leash. We talked about in the beginning, like when the question was asked about the martingale collar, about pressure release. So again, you have to have a martingale type collar or a slip lead, something that's not going to go over the dog's head. You're going to let the dog get 6 feet ahead of you. You're going to say, Fido, come. They're not going to listen because they don't know what you're talking about. So then you're going to use the leash to guide them, not drag them, guide them. Come. Yay, good girl, good boy. Give them the treat, praise them, pet them up. You want to make that the best command since sliced bread. And you do that 100 times. Then you put 2 leashes together. Now you're going out 12 feet. And then you get a 25-foot lead, a 50-foot lead. And you just keep working it. I'm telling you, I mean, by the time Zoe was probably 6 months old, I would say her recall was pretty bulletproof. But I put a lot. I wish I would have kept a chart of it just because it would have made sense for me to help you guys understand. I'm not kidding you when I say I spent at least 3 times a day. When she was a puppy, it was maybe 10 minutes. But then eventually it worked up to a half hour, 45 minutes, 3 times a day, just working one command. I didn't focus on the sit with her or the down or anything. I focused on mastering the walk and the recall. That's what I did. Now it gets to the point, like when I walk her off leash, she gets 5 feet ahead of me. I go, hey, she just stops. She knows the rules. She chased a cat here in the complex the other day. So we come. She stops. She comes back. And I think I told you guys about a year ago, she made a huge mistake. She didn't come back when I called her. But then once the excitement of the cat ran up the tree, couldn't get the cat. She came back to me and she knew instinctually she had made a mistake. Not because I yelled, not because I cursed, not because I threatened to hit her or kick her, because my energy was, are you freaking kidding me? I was disappointed. And she came back. She walked over, and as she's getting closer to me and feeling my energy, her head went down. Everything changed. Her eyes became like, uh-oh, what did I do? And then she got about a foot away from me, laid down and gave me her belly and said, I am sorry. And I looked at her. I let her stay there for a few minutes. I'm like, okay, let's go. It was over. It was done. She self-punished herself. Um, but it takes time. And guys, it's so worth it to take the time to teach the recall. Like I said, personally, I don't really care about the rest of the obedience stuff. I really don't. Yes, it's nice when I tell my dog to sit, it sits, but that's not going to save its life. Recall will save a dog's life, and it's worth the effort, and it's definitely worth never getting frustrated. Remember, guys, no anger, no frustration, no nonsense. Don't expect your dog to come to you right away. Don't expect your dog to come to you unless they think you're a pack leader. If they don't feel you as a pack leader, why would they come to you? And I use growing up. If my brother or sister called me to come in at night, the odds are I did not listen. My parents called me. I got my butt inside. Why? Because my parents were my pack leaders. My brother and sister, siblings were my pack mates. I don't listen to my pack mates as well. Even though they were older and I probably should have, I didn't listen to them as much as I listened to my pack leaders. And that's why I stress the value of mastering the walk. So anybody who's new, who's watching me for the first time, please find my YouTube channel. It's Back to Basics Dog Training on YouTube. I think that logo, I'm so bad at pointing, is up there. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Go to my YouTube channel, find my playlist on there, subscribe to it, guys. I need more subscribers. How to leash train my dog in 5 easy steps, which is really mastering the walk, and follow it. Master episode 1 before you go to episode 2. Master episode 2 before you go to episode 3, and so on. Andrea asks, with a new German Shepherd dog, do I have to crate train or okay without a crate? I prefer dogs being crated, especially in the beginning. When I bring a dog in, again, it could be a puppy or it could be an older dog, and I'm going to use Duke as the example. If anybody remembers when I worked with Duke, Duke was in a shelter for 2.5 years, I believe. I have its 3-year life. He was used to a big dog run, inside-outside dog run at the shelter, but he wasn't used to a crate. First thing I did is teach him crate. And the reason being is they need a secure, calm place to go, especially when you take them from environment A to environment B. The biggest mistake most people make when they bring a new dog into their home is they let the dog have free run of the whole entire house. And all we do is confuse the living crap out of them because they're not used to that. That's not natural in their DNA. Crates are more, they're den animals. They understand the concept naturally. So what I do whenever I bring a new dog into my home is they go, first thing I do, I get the dog out of my car and I take it on a short walk, usually just around the house, property. And then with the leash, I bring it right into the house to wherever I have the crate set up, and I start introducing the crate to them. I don't force them into crates. I guide them into crates. And I do that, and I may use treats depending on the dog and what the issues are, but I guide them in, and then they get in the crate, and they don't come out for the first couple of hours they're in my house. And then when they do come out, they come out on a leash. And I will introduce them to my house slowly. With the Duke case, the crate was down in my basement. I did the short walk around the thing. I took him in my yard. I walked him around the backyard saying, hey, this is your bathroom space. Then I brought him right from the backyard down the stairs to the crate, and he didn't want to go in there, so I had to help him, and I had to guide him in there. And then he got in there, and okay, you're in there. Good. I released them to come out because dogs are not allowed out of the crate unless I give them permission. Even if the door is open, doesn't mean you're allowed out. Episode 2 in that playlist that we talked about on my YouTube channel, Threshold Management. And then what I did for the first few hours with him is started off where he was in the crate for 5-10 seconds, released him, brought him back in. Then I increased that 5-10 seconds to maybe 20-25 seconds, whatever it was. I wasn't keeping a stopwatch on it, to the point where he was in there without even trying to get out, not holding the leash, for up to 15-20 minutes. Once he got used to that, I put him in there. Then I started doing the process of shutting the door a little bit to see how he reacted. He reacted really well, so I was able to shut the door, go upstairs, turn the lights off, and he went to sleep. And he did that for 2 weeks. The only thing he knew in my house for 2 weeks was his crate in my basement and the path from the basement to the yard so we can work to go to the bathroom, and then I would feed him in the basement and repeat for 2 weeks. Then I brought the crate upstairs. Now he's with the rest of the pack. But same routine. He went from the crate outside for the first week after that, and every time we came back in, he went into his crate. I fed him outside the crate. I don't feed inside crates. I know there's pros and cons on that. So eventually, I didn't have to put him in the crate because now I started letting him come into the rest of the house. So he understood these are privileges that I'm allowing him to be part of the pack in the living room, on a dog bed, next to me. That's a privilege because it's not in a crate. He's with the pack and they want to be with the pack. But he had to earn those privileges. And how he earned it is not making a big deal in his crate. And like I said, with Duke, it worked out great because he loved his crate. He loved that security and the calmness of his crate. And when he was in the crate, because I had other dogs in the house, no other dog was allowed near that crate because that was his safe zone. And they had to give him that respect and that personal distance. Social distance, I guess that's the word we should use now. And he got it. And like I said, there were times during the day he'd just go in there and take a nap. And at night at 8:30, in there, I shut the door. He was good for the night. He didn't want to come out. He didn't want to go to, and he was good till the next morning, 8, 9 o'clock. But that's because I represented the crate as calm. If I would have forced him into the crate day one, he would have hated the crate. I'm working with a couple here. They have an issue with their dog with the crate. Rescue dog. They got it when it was, I think she was about, or he, I don't know, I think it's a she. 7, 8 months old. Never understood, never was in a crate. It was in the backyard. But they need it. Since I prefer to rescue German Shepherd, is it easier to train all with a puppy or less than 2-year-old, or is any adult age still trainable? Any dog, no matter how old it is trainable. It's just harder the older they are. Same way as humans. If you're used to doing something one way for X amount of years, and then somebody new comes along and says, nope, you got to do it this way, it's harder. It takes more of the calm confidence and consistency to create it. Puppies are easier. Puppies are definitely easier because they're moldable. But the problem with puppies where it makes it harder is they're so damn cute. So you kind of let them get away with stuff, and you shouldn't. Like I tell everybody, Zoe was an adorable puppy. Still is. But I didn't fall for that. We were training from day one, 8 weeks old. She came to my life. And she started learning how to walk on a leash and how to come back to me when I called her. Right. But again, he was 4. You started the training with him. He was getting it. I remember some of our conversations. It takes longer. Think about it. If a dog never had any formal training on mastering the walk, it's going to pull because that's what it's used to doing. It just takes longer. But if you base everything on being calm, your energy is calm, you are confident, and you are stay consistent, you will get that control. How long? Who the hell knows? Stark is just as adorable as he was when we first got him. Absolutely. My boy Stark. I may be planning a trip back up north, trying to work it out with a customer up there. I'll be up there for 2 weeks, but I'll definitely let you guys know. I want to see my boy. Well, I want to see you guys too, but I want to see my boy. And the dogs understand. Donna's the perfect example. How dogs understand the energy. It's phenomenal. When I first met Stark at Donna's house, even though I had met him before, it blew their minds how he just responded to me instantly because well, Donnie, you're a teacher, so I'm probably going to say this wrong. Don't yell at me. Absorb, or whatever. But I put out the energy of that calm confidence all the time. When I walk into a customer's house, I worked with a happy-go-lucky golden doodle last weekend. Um, you know, and they were shocked the dog didn't do what it does to normal guests because it read my energy so quickly. I mean, it was like this, boom. He came, oh, somebody's here, somebody's here, somebody's here. Whoa, different energy. What do I do? He sat. And that's the same thing I had with Stark, the happy-go-lucky goofball that Stark is. And he still is, but he knows he has to control that because that's what Donna and Rich and Alex and Brian have taught him. You're not allowed to get excited on your own, pal, only when we ask you to. Rich calls me the dog whisperer. And that's a great compliment. I will never say it, but if people want to say it, because it's not about this. We tend to talk, guys. I mean, I've been doing this for 42 minutes today, and I'm talking and I'm talking. We tend to talk. Dogs don't. They understand. I'm going to change this up. So anybody who wanted my information, it was up there. Where is it? And Donna can attest to this, and anybody else I have the privilege of working with. Energy is definitely the most important form of communication we have with our dogs. If we're calm, they're calm. If we're neurotic, they're neurotic. I worked with a lady not too long ago when I lived up on Long Island. Sweetest lady in the world, but one of the worst cases of OCD I ever saw in my life when it came to cleaning our house. The whole session I was there, she never once stopped. She was ranging things, cleaning things, wiping things down, doing this, doing that, doing this, doing this. And I'm looking at her dog doing the exact same thing. And I'm like, you want to know why your dog is neurotic? Because you are. Slow it down. Slow it down. So, guys, we're at the almost 45-minute mark, which is longer than usual. So I'm jacked up to the hilt right now. Remember, every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I'm doing this again. So please, please share my lives, share my page, Back to Basics Dog Training SC, with your friends and family around the country and around the world, because we really want to succeed in helping one dog and one family at a time, and we're on the right steps to that. And remember, anybody who's not local here in the South Carolina, North Carolina market, if you need more one-on-one consultation from me, by all means, we can always set up a Zoom training session. It's a very economical training session. Hell, it's only $75 for the session, so that's economical. And I will focus solely on your needs, not going from martingale collars to insecure dogs to leash reactive dogs to this to the overexcitement. It'll be focused on you and your issues, because it's not about physical control. It's not about me necessarily being there. It's more me teaching you the dog psychology and how you can help your dog. So Zoom sessions are very affordable. Please feel free to anytime, but share this information. I'm doing this twice a week because I want to get the word out there that, I want to help these dogs. I want to help your families, and I think together we can. So with that being said, guys, if there's no more questions, we're going to wrap it up for the week. And we're going to bid you guys a fond farewell. I tried to say in English, but as always, thank you for inviting me to your home each and every Saturday morning, and hopefully Tuesday nights coming up soon. It's truly an honor and a privilege to be here. It's the highlight of my week. Now I have it twice a week. I love doing this, so I hope you guys get as much out of this as I do. But if there's no other questions, we're going to wrap it up. Guys, as always, thank you, thank you, thank you. Stay healthy, stay safe, God bless, and remember, together we can help one dog and one family at a time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Hopefully see you guys Tuesday night. If not, next Saturday morning right here at 11 a.m. Take care, people. We'll see you